Hello, travelers. Welcome to Reach the World. For over 20 years, Reach the World has used virtual exchange to inspire youth to become curious, confident, and compassionate global citizens. My name is Tim, and this week, together with Citi's E for Education campaign, we're going on a journey to explore how global citizens can put that valuable skill set to work as part of a global career. Throughout this week, we'll be connecting with Citi employees and financial capitals around the world. They've generously agreed to share their stories, observations, and tips for finding success in this highly interconnected global economy. Today, I'm very excited to travel to Lima, Peru to speak with Cecilia Ronchi. Cecilia is joining us to talk about working, living, and thriving professionally in Peru. Before we meet Cecilia, though, I want to welcome the teachers, students, Reach the World travelers, and early career professionals who are watching today. Please feel free to use the YouTube chat bar to let us know you're here, where you're joining from, and of course, to share any questions you have for Cecilia as we go. But with that, and without any further ado, I'm ready to journey to South America. If you are, Cecilia, welcome to Reach the World.
Hi, Tim. Thank you for your presentation. Well, I'm from Argentina. I'm living in Peru right now, but I was born and raised in Buenos Aires. I moved recently to Lima. I'm only like 10 months now, and I'm enjoying it a lot. First of all, I would like to talk about how I started and how I decided to start my global citizenship career. That I think I discovered that when I was in college. I want to live abroad and to discover new cultures, meeting new people. I think that the first spot I wanted to live in was Europe. So with my my university, I applied to an exchange program. And one of the choices I could have, it was Bocconi University at Milan. And I applied there and I won the placement and I was really happy. So that was my first experience abroad. It was during the university, but I think it's part of your professionalism. It's part of your future, for your future career. So there, meeting new people, meeting the new culture. Also, it was not only meeting people from Milan, but also from different places. And it was super interesting because in Buenos Aires, there is not that diversity. And so there I discovered that for my life, I just wanted to continue to move around, at least while I'm still young. But for the future, you never know anyway. You never know what could happen. So after that, after college, I decided to try to get some job that I like it, that I wanted to work in, but also trying to get some place in a multinational or big corporation where the mobility or reallocation could be possible. Because I know I want to do that. So when I graduate, it was tough because show market for young people is always a little bit tough. But if you try and you work, you try, you just get that some job that you like. And for me, I went first to JP Morgan, and I work a little bit abroad in Chicago, and that was my first experience by working abroad. I like it a lot. It's different when you have an experience in university and then when you have one at working. Mm-hmm. You meet different cultures, but it's different. It's not just studying, it's your work. So you have to understand how to communicate difference in cultures. It's that you are not going to be maybe friends, but you need to work with them. And I think it was a really great experience. I did that for only 3 months in Chicago. Then I came back to Buenos Aires, which was my first job. And after a while, I wanted to do something different. And I applied to a job here at Citi, where I'm currently working. I've been working with Citi for 3 years now. I started in a market analyst program, which is like a rotational program. It's very common. Citi has this all around the world, where in which you learn different skills from different desks. And after a while, you get the placement in one of the teams that you want to work, but sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's difficult. Sorry. I work in the markets division. This is in Latam. Where I started in Buenos Aires. We don't have many products, but I think that you can find something that you like very much. In my case, I wanted to be a trader, and so it was difficult in Argentina because Argentina has been living a couple of crises the last years, but my bosses, the management really understand my passion of doing trading, and they helped me. They helped me to try to get the job that I wanted, because I was working a lot in Argentina, but there was no position. So they asked me, okay, maybe we don't have it in Buenos Aires, but then you could go to Lima and you have the position you want. So I say yes. I like the challenge. I like the job. So and I always want to live abroad too. In Latam, I already live in Europe. I live in Buenos Aires, and I came here to Lima to meet. I mean, it's pretty much the same culture, but it's not the same. So I was really glad. I was really excited, and I think I did good. So this is how I started, and I think that's one of the for the global. I mean, to be a global worker, you should like be flexible on locations, and try to see everything as a challenge and an opportunity too, right?
That's such an interesting journey, and there's something you said that really sort of fits with what I've heard from some of your colleagues too, that that when you work, especially for a big multinational corporation, there are more opportunities, especially if you see living and working in a different country as a really fun opportunity, to have that aspect on top of pursuing what your professional goals are. So you said you found the job you liked, plus you got to move to Peru, which was an exciting adventure for you as well. It's a new country and culture to explore. It sounds like kind of a common thread. Our Reach the World travelers who are spread throughout the US all know or can list a multinational corporation that operates where they live or near where they live, and sort of getting your foot in the door like you did with Citi seems to have opened up a lot of possibilities for you.
Yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, I would say that Citi has this program where you can try to live abroad. I mean, I don't think it's for everybody, but I think that the good from multinationals and Citi in this case is that they open the door for you if you want to do it, and they encourage you to do it. So I think that's one of the main things about when you try to get a place where to work. I mean, you should be able to see if they can offer you that. And I'm glad I'm at Citi and I have that opportunity that maybe in other places I couldn't have. So yeah,
very interesting. Let's turn specifically to Lima and living and working in Lima. I know you said you've been there for 10 months, but you've had a chance to really figure it out, see how it's the same and different from Buenos Aires. And how is it the same and different? I mean, what do you like about living and working in Lima?
Okay. Well, actually, I thought that it was super different working at Lima instead of Buenos Aires, But I realized that in my case, I'm a Latin too. So we share some culture, even when we are from different countries. We are not that far away, and we have shared interest and culture and part of the culture. But also there are a lot of difference on. For example, for me, I speak Spanish. They speak Spanish, but we have different words for the same thing. So sometimes you have to be careful of what you said or what they are telling you, because maybe we are talking about different things. So first of all, the office culture, I would say that it's pretty similar, but you have to try to learn, to try to get yourself educated about the how they manage when there is a problem, when something comes up. I mean, you have to understand. I mean, for me, for me, it was also different, not only the culture, but the market I was trading. In Buenos Aires, I trade Argentinian peso, and here I had to trade another market. And it was difficult for me at first to understand how it was. But my colleagues understand that that for me it was new. And I don't know, I think that the first 3 months, 4 months were difficult, but then I started to understand them. I started to get to know them, to get my new colleagues, and right now it's really super good. One of the things I always said that when you are going to work in another country, it's that you have to immerse in the new culture. I mean, you have to leave behind a little bit your culture and try to understand them, because in that way you are able to develop your career, you develop your connections. For example, it's super simple, but for me in Buenos Aires, I know we eat meat, here we eat fish, and that's part of the journey. You know, you have to understand and get to understand them, and you have to I would say that immerse in the culture. I mean, it's part of the job. Sometimes at Citi also we have colleagues from all of the part of the world. There are not only Peruvians in my case. There are people from Venezuela, from Colombia. There are different places. It's not only I'm not the only expat, but which is good, because you need to have diverse culture. But I think that's one of the intercultural skills you need to have to get to understand the other, and they will understand you too, because it's part. They want to know you. You know, maybe it's the first time they talk with an Argentinian, maybe it's the first time they talk to an American, and they get to know you. And sometimes when I get to talk about a little bit about my country, they always have more questions. So it's nice to share that, to share your culture, to share your I don't know, what you have and what you bring to the table. And I think always that this is really good. The dialogue is really good, because sometimes you can solve problems in a better way. You understand how do you do business in the new country. So I think it's good, and you need to be receptive of what you are living. I think that's one of the main things.
Great. You said another thing that's very interesting to me. You said it takes a couple months to sort of get used to a new place, a new work culture, a new geographical location. A lot of Reach the World travelers who have recently had a study abroad experience might say the same thing. It takes a couple months to get used to a new place. But you also said earlier that it's very different to study abroad versus work abroad. I wonder if you could explain that a little bit more. How is that adaptation period different when you're working in a different country versus when you're there to study as a student?
Okay. Well, from my experience, I would say that one of the main things is that when you are studying, you know that it's not permanent. I mean, you will be there for a couple of months and then you go back. But then when you are working, it's more permanent. I mean, you will be there for a couple of years. So you have two impacts: one at work, and one is social. And at work, you can. It's not the relationships that you are managed. They can be with hierarchy. And also with your partners. So those relationships must be good because you spend a lot of time at work, and you will spend it for years, maybe, or months. I don't know. But it's part of where you are going every day. So you need to understand that maybe the culture sometimes could be a barrier, but you need to understand, you need to learn how to manage that and start to get used to that. And to try to enjoy, of course. I think I love it, but I know that sometimes it's tough because you're far away from a friend, far away from a family, and also you have your job that you had to do it. But I think that that's the main difference. But also your colleagues, if you are receptive of your culture, of their culture, they will be receptive of yours, and they will help you to understand a lot of things. Also, always at the first, when you are in a country for the first time, you are living abroad there. Sometimes it's difficult because you have a lot of paperwork to do. You have the place. You have to decide where you want to live in the city. Where the good zone? Where's the bad zone? What's cheap? What's expensive? You need to understand a lot. So you need people who can help you with that. And also in your job, trying to make the relationships the most friendly possible to be successful in the place. If not, that will complicate the entire experience, because you are there because of your job too. So I think that's the main difference. And also that in the university you are around people from your age, for example. But in the new country, in the new job, you will have people with maybe 20 years of difference. So it's not only generational, but also a cultural difference. So I think that's a challenge too, right? And that's part of the main difference between studying abroad and living and working abroad. But it's a good experience. I like it. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that perspective. That's such a great advice. I hope we can just pause and appreciate what great advice that is for all of our Reach the World travelers. What is your daily life like? What is an average day of living and working in Lima like for you?
Well, here at Lima, we have Lima. It's like in a hike, in a little hike, in a mountain, but it's not that high. And you have the sea all around the city. So I usually, when I'm not in the weekend, I will take my bike and just ride across the around the sea, like in the beach. I think that's part of what I do sometimes in the weekend, always. Since with the pandemic and COVID, we are still working from home. So I try to do my routine with things outside. So that's one of the things I like to do. And then when different friends that I'm making during the month, I just go out and grab dinner, or maybe we go to a bar. Right now we have, with COVID, almost done, so things are more open now. But that's one of the things we do. And also, of course, if there is a long weekend, like we have a holiday or not, we can travel a little bit. there are many places that we can visit here at Lima. But that's, I know, it's normal, yeah.
Have you, just out of curiosity, have you had any time in the office in Lima, or have you been working from home since you arrived?
No, I actually I had to work from the office for a month because at first one of the paperwork I had to do was to wait for my visa, and since I didn't have visa, I didn't have internet at my place, so I had to go to the office to work for a month. But the office is empty still. I don't know when we are going back. Right now it's off from home. Except that you have some problem because, for example, you could have a bad connection, you could have I don't know, different things, right? And there you could, or maybe you have a technical problem with your computer, so you can go to the office to solve it. So I visited the office. It's really nice, and it's good. Yep.
All right. Well, hopefully you can return very soon.
Yeah.
To sort of wrap things up, I want to talk, and you've sprinkled this throughout what you've said today, but I'm curious to know your advice for young people who are interested in a career like yours, who hear about your career path and think, wow, that's amazing. You can go and live in another country, that you can make that a part of your daily life. What advice would you have for those people?
Okay. First of all, I would say that you have to decide if the global career is for you. And if it is for you, you have to be open-minded and you have to be flexible. Maybe the first location you want to go is it's not possible right now, but you can go to another place. You have to decide if you want to live in a specific place or if you want to understand and meet new cultures. So I think that for people who wants to be a global worker, you can move around a lot of times. There's plenty of opportunities right now at in the world. I mean, in the job market. So I think that one of my advices would be to be flexible on the locations you are going. If you want to go to Colombia, but then Colombia it's not possible, and they offer you Brazil, just go to Brazil if you want to try the new experience. I think that's one of the things that someone has to decide where you want to go, or if you want to just get the experience. I think that getting the experience is what I choose, and I'm glad I did it. That's the most advice I can give. And then I think that multinationals and global corporations want this kind of people. They want that people who wants to be relocated, people who wants to have their mobility around the world. Because we are a global world and we need to understand different cultures. We need to do that because we every year that passes, even with the pandemic, is a great example of how communicate we are around the world, how we all live the same thing. So I think that having this mindset that I think the generation is already having a lot. It's a really good skill to have. I mean, this mindset and the corporations, corporations and multinational really appreciate, and they are looking for this kind of people because the world is made right now I think it's made for that. So I mean, I would say that if you are looking for it, I'm sure you'll find it because I mean the world needs that. So yeah, that's
Unmuted. Thank you. Yeah, that's great advice. Really appreciate that. Let's end on sort of a lighter note. If I were a first-time traveler who was coming to Lima, or even Buenos Aires, if you want to play with your home city as well, what's something I'd absolutely have to do in order to experience and really understand those places?
Okay. Well, for Lima, you will have to go to a restaurant and eat ceviche, which only at noon. You have to try that. It's one of the main courses we have here. And of course, traveling to Machu Picchu, which is a really part of the culture of Peru. It's really part of their past, and they really appreciate that. So I think that's pretty much what you have to do in Peru. And then in Buenos Aires, you have to eat asado. You have to try the asado, the Argentinian meat. And then we don't have something like Machu Picchu, but we have different places you can go that are good too. Like the Iguazu Falls or the glaciers at the south of the country, which are great. So those are my advice, yeah, for Lima and Buenos Aires.
Fantastic. I'll add those to my travel list. Thank you so much, Cecilia, for taking the time to talk with us today. It's been really nice to get to know you and to hear more about your global career journey. Thanks also to our entire audience for tuning in today. There are more Citi Global Career Journey stops to come, so stay tuned all this week. And if you missed any of our previous stops in London, Johannesburg, Tel Aviv, Sao Paulo, Seoul, Bangkok, Singapore, the list goes on, you can find recordings of those events at Reach the World's YouTube channel, where we've set up a special Citi Global Career Journey playlist. Special thanks to the Citi E4Education campaign and to all our many Citi volunteers for making this learning experience and all of these experiences possible. See you next time, Cecilia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.